Hey, man. Hey, Mgtows. Hope you're all doing well today.
Hey
Happy.
man.
Ooh, there's my sound check. Ooh,
Hey Mick.
that was good sound check, too. So, hello, man. Happy Thanksgiving. If you haven't been told that a million times today already, happy Thanksgiving. I hope you ate too much. I hope you had too much fun, and I hope you didn't get in trouble. So today we celebrate the day we drove all them wretched, cursed Indians out of our nation, and killed most of them and gave them disease and everything. Woo, woo. Good job there, guys. Okay, so that's it. That's my opinion about Thanksgiving celebration. But it is a good turkey day. I went out to a fine restaurant today, probably the best in the city, and I got some turkey dinner made for me, especially by caring servants that brought the turkey to me, and then I gave a $20 tip, and we left. So that's all fine and dandy and everything. I was going to save this one till Sunday, but I just couldn't harness it in my soul. So I think it was Tuesday we were talking about Tuesday. Yeah, I think it was Tuesday this 7th. We were talking about. I looked up on Twitter. I was twittering on my phone, doing that Twitter thing, and I looked up and I seen there was an International Men's Day, and I was like, I don't remember an International Men's Day on that day. And everybody was happy, and everybody was like, woo, International Men's Day. And I was like, they're like, woo. And it was actually International Men and Boys Day. And they don't do that to females. They do International Women's Day, and then they do projects for girls. So they separate the youngins from the older ones, but we get a day pushed together because men or boys are the same thing. Yeah, right. So I was thinking about this, and I was like, this doesn't seem right. Something seems off about this day, and it brought up this complex idea for me about sometimes MGTOWs and sometimes men, they jump aboard, they get really excited about things like, ooh, the world gave us an International Men's Day. We should just be happy about that. We should just take it, and we can all go home now. We can all go home. All of you guys can go home. Mgtow's over. The Manosphere's over. We won. We got an International Men's Day where the United Nations is going to recognize the cause of men and children and boys, and they're going to stop poisoning our kids in schools, and we're going to stop accursed divorce, and we're going to stop child support because it is women's responsibility 100% because it's not your child. These are all great concepts. Men are going to get equal rights. We're going to do we're going to get the ability to financially abort. All them things, everything. We're going to get everything piled upon us. The pronoun male is going to be used in the Equal Rights Amendment. Then will be policy and all that stuff and all that garbage. No, it's not going to happen. You know why it's not going to happen? Because it's a fake. It's a fake International Men's Day. There's a little community called UNESCO. Let me look that up real quick because UNESCO is the backer of International Men's Day. UNESCO is the International Peace and Universal Human Rights Organization. It specializes. It's the United Nations Education, Science, and Cultural Organization. United Nations. So these are all the doctors and lawyers and good people and NGOs and the same people everybody complains about. They're the George Soroses of this world. They're the superstars of this world. There's a lot of things that happen in this thing. And the first thing I noticed when I started to see, I had this video planned. I was like, oh, I'm going to make an International Men's Day and be like, woo, yeah, we won. But then I thought, and I started reading about it, and I thought how much bullshit. And I'll get to the hypocrisy at the end of this day, and then we'll do that hypocrisy thing that I do most often in one of my videos. And I was going to do it on Tuesday, but I wanted to save it to Sunday, so I didn't save it, and because I just wanted to talk about International Men's Day. Sometimes we get really excited about these things, and we get really excited about that John and Jerry Lee, that little girl, he is so cute, being on CNN, and I know. You might want to track down the International Men's Day, and you look at what it is, and you'll see that it started in 1992 and or somewhere around that, and then it kind of failed and it sputtered out, and every time, but it matches up with when Bill Bly came around with the Mesopoetic era, and they started having these marches and these things. They gave him International Men's Day, and then that movement ended, and then the men's rights organization came around in like 1986 or something. So they brought back International Men's Day, and they were like, "Woo, we got that!" And then that organization kind of sputtered out, and then 1992 came up, and they brought it back, and then they had that sputtered out, and then it sputtered out again, and then last year International Men's Day. So it's been around 1 year. Yes, it's been around 1 year, and they gave it to us last year after International Men's Day. They said, "Woo, you guys are going to have a Men's Day next year." So they gave it to this day, but then you start doing the UNESCO, the United Nations, is an NGO. It's a conglomeration of NGOs of really smart people with their degrees and all that stuff, and they have International Men's Day. But then you start looking at who was the planners of UNESCO. And this is a who's. If you go look up UNESCO and you go look up, it's a who's who of New World Order people. And the first name that comes up is the first person on that list you're going to notice is Julian Huxley. Yes, Julian Huxley just so happens to come from the famed Huxley family, where Aldous Huxley, Brave New World, the writer of Brave New World, and Andrew Huxley, the Nobel Prize winner, and Julian Huxley was a Nobel Prize winner for his biology and work, and his basically. But there's one other thing Julian Huxley was. He was a simp. He was the leader of Planned Parenthood, the thing for women that it was Planned Parenthood. He was the leader of the abortion thing, and he gets women's rights, and he does. Julian Huxley is he does these things where, let me see if I got some notes on some other stuff. There's a lot of things he does, and there's a lot of things that you have to know about him, that he's just a regular simp guy that simped into this thing. And then the second name that comes up is the first name that I noticed on it's Adrian Azoulay. Adrian Azoulay is the daughter of King Mohammed V of Morocco. And then, so these people are well known. They got these positions because they're just these kind of people in the world. They are the NGO leaders. They are the New World Order leaders of the UN, and they get these positions where they get paid, and they get to do this, and they get the fame, and they get all this stuff, and that's so she, if you look up Audrey Azoulay, that's AUDREYAZOELAY. But if you look up UNESCO, you'll see her name, and she's the leader of, and she's for women's rights and everything, and that's where I'm going here. And then the third name that comes up, and some of you may know it, is Federico Mayer Zaragoza, the founder of Cultural Peace host program for a Women's Knowledge International. So these are the people that are giving you International Men's Day. Let me do a quick quote from Federico Mayer Zaragoza. Most of you may know his name because he's quite a bit into women's rights and everything, and feminism. This quote says, "Thus, against the wind, we must plow our friends and plant our seeds, even in bad weather and hostile environments. For centuries in this male-dominated circle of power, there has been a culture of imposition, violence, domination, and people, as obedient vessels, have remained silent and fearful." That's Zaragoza's. This is the guy that helped you get International Men's Day. There's for centuries there's been male-dominated circle of power and violence and imposition. and this is the guy that I given it to you. So I brought up those 3 names. I didn't do the research on the other 6 or 7, 8 names because I'm sure it was. But the reason I was going to wait till Sunday to do this was um, now let me do you know what do you guys did let me get it, let me go back to my page here. Do any of you guys know what's coming up Sunday? Hey Derek, do you know what's coming up Sunday? Hey Reuven, hey Riff, hey you guys, do you know what's coming up Sunday? What day it is Sunday? Go look real quick and somebody come back and tell me what November 25th is going to be on Sunday. And then I'll just tell you because that's too much work, and I should have I do the research anyways. What's coming up is Sunday is International Violence Against Women Day, just four days after International Men's Day, and it's International Violence Against Women's Day. And you know who's sponsoring it? Shake your head, yes. You know. I know it's going to be horrible. UNESCO. The same people that just sponsored International Men's Day are sponsoring International Violence Against Women's Day 4 days later on November 25th, which is pretty much a national holiday for all of us. If it's just the national holiday is moved to Thursday to give a workers' rights thing. So they're going to sponsor that 4 days later. These people, you know what they gave us? You know what they gave us as International Men's Day on that day, which was a Pakistani, which was a Korean, which is a very unknown holiday on that day. They gave us a Trojan horse. You know what a Trojan horse is? Yeah, the Trojans, they packed their soldiers inside of a horse, and it was a gift. They said, here, Mgtow, here are men's rights. Here's a gift. And they're going to wheel this into our camp. And like the Trojan horse that the Trojans were used, all their soldiers are going to jump out and they're going to slay us. Or we're just going to give up and go, same thing that happened 3 or 4 times before. We had our holiday for like a day or 2, and then they took it away from us because we're misogynistic people. So it's a Trojan horse. You can imagine that it is a Trojan horse. UNESCO sponsored it. It's the same people. It's the same program. It's the same NGO. And you got to wonder from the UN, the same people, that little girl that we all dislike a little bit that was from the Harry Potter movie. What's her name? We had to hear that speech. We had to hear that speech over and over again from her. What was her name? Yeah. That's the same people that gave you International Men's Day. And we're going to jump aboard that. And all these guys were going, woo, woo, thanks, suck my log. That's what I say to these people. And that's the proper Mgtow response. Suck my log. You're going to be seeing us. You're going to feel us. You're going to feel us. And that's coming. And you're going to feel us. And if we're insulting us more, you're going to feel us more. That's the attitude that a Mgtow should take. I hate this world. Hello, I hate this world. I bet you shower twice a week at the best thing. Once average you're 16 viewers. You're now. Yeah, thanks for that. I hate this world. You're a wonderful person. So UNESCO gave us that, and that's a blah 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 blah. So that was the first thing that bothered me. The second thing that bothers me today is I looked around the manosphere lately about a month and maybe a little more a month, and we'll see these videos come popping up a little more, and it's from Ibmore, and it's about the black manosphere. And I zoned out for a moment when you did you share anything that I was thankful for? Did I share anything that you should be thankful for? No, nothing at all. Just a little bit of knowledge about these people that were giving us International Men's Day, and that's it. So I looked around the black manosphere, and there's a few people going on, and what I see a lot over there is, and I'm going to stop supporting them more, and I'm going to stop supporting the black manosphere until they clean up their side of the street, because they got a whole lot of black nationalism going over there now, and I spend a few hours a week listening to the videos and just laying back, and I say hello, and then automatically I get tattooed because I'm white, and that's just racism. So I just wanted to make an announcement that I will no longer be talking about it more. I will not no longer be supporting the Black Manosphere, and I will not, and I will continue not supporting uh, white nationalism either. But I'm just going to walk away from that whole thing because these fucking people are morons. And until they sweep their side of the street over there, they just have nothing to talk to me about, and they have nothing to talk to Mgtow about anymore because they're pretty much morons and they can't see it. And that's it. That's it. Why'd you zone out, Joe? Joe, really, why'd you zone out? Tryptophan? The chemical in turkey that makes you pass out? I'll bet you. I'll bet you ate too much turkey. Oh, let me block this one cat up here. Speaking about blocking, we just had this. I'm gonna remove him. You know, matter of fact, I'm gonna block. I'm gonna remove that, and that will be it. And that will be it for him. I'll block him later, or I'll go to his account and block him. I wanted to, you guys. I just had this with SFM. I keep an attitude around here. I used to block everybody. I used to do that. I had over 500 people blocked on my thing, but I don't do that anymore, and I don't do that for a reason. And this caught the ire of a lot of people in this community. They said, Joe, why don't you have this safe space set up for us where we can go and we can talk and everything? And I thought, well, there's a certain hypocrisy in this. The hypocrisy in this is that right over on the side here, and I could probably screen share this for anybody that doesn't understand this. Right over the side, there's 3 dots above every person, or beside on the right hand side of every person. You click on that, and then you as a person can block that person. And that's been my point all along here. Anybody can block anybody they don't want to see on that chat area. And as soon as you block them, their chats no longer come through to you. You can't see it. My hopes and my dreams when I started that, and I said I unblocked everybody, and my hopes and my dreams were, it's a real Mgtow thing to take responsibility for yourself. And I can't manage the chat and talk all alone here and then not have those uncomfortable pauses and in my speech pattern and everything, because once I get rolling, I like to keep rolling. And so the 3 dots over there, if there's someone you don't want to see on the channel, you hit it, and then you've taken responsibility for your life, and you don't have to see that. Now, what I expect sooner or later with the women's and that stuff, if I expect that someday that nobody will see it, because everybody that comes to my channel will automatically have them blocked, and that's taking responsibility for yourself. And I don't have to do that. We have this thing in Mgtow where I'm not asking the world to do anything for me, and the world, it doesn't owe me, and I don't owe them anything. And that's why we Mgtow. What I'm saying when I Mgtow is I don't owe you people anything. I don't owe you nothing, Jack. I don't owe you jack. Don't ask me for anything. And that's the attitude I keep with I can't be hypocritical about around here too. I don't owe anybody anything, and you don't owe me anything. And you have to be responsible for yourself, and I have to be responsible for myself. And I don't want to see something, I'll block it myself. If you don't want to see something, you block it yourself. And my hopes and my dreams for my channel is that everybody has the people that offend them blocked, and we just don't see it. And I don't have to talk about it, and that it doesn't disrupt me. And someday in your Mgtow career, if you stay around here long enough, you'll struggle through this long enough, and you realize that I'm right about this. And SFM took exception to this. He said, "Oh, Joe, you could have avoided all this hateful things that we say about you now, because all you had to do was continue blocking them." Well, it's not my responsibility to block them. It's yours. The hypocrisy in that is you never blocked them. If you see that comment, that tells me that you haven't blocked them. And that's hypocrisy. Yes. And that's the true part about it. What someone's saying to you is, and then I got to wonder, why haven't you blocked them yet? If that was so important to you, the same people that were telling me to block these people haven't blocked them. So they were seeing the comments, and that's how it works. And that became hypocrisy to me. And ever since I was a little kid, my nickname used to be Stump. And it wasn't Stump because I was short and fat. I am kind of big, but it was Stump because I was immovable on certain positions. I remember getting there was this kid Ronnie, and Ronnie was looking at me, and he kept turning around in the classroom, and he kept looking at me, and he kept doing the faces and everything. Every time the teacher, Mrs. Egbert, I think her name was, she was this disgusting feminist English teacher, and that I hated. And he kept staring at me, and he kept doing things. So I wrapped up a ball of pencils, and when I sharpened each one of them, it was a ball of tape pencils because I had some tape, and I whipped it and I stuck it in the side of his head. Yeah. And then the principal called me down to the office, and he said, "Joe, you're going to apologize to him." And I said, "No, I'm not." And he said, "No, Joe, you're going to apologize to him, and you're going to get a in-school suspension and everything because you're a violent little motherfucker." And I said, "No, I'm not." And it's impossible to move me when I get stuck on an idea or something. And that's the same way in here. And I've been that all my life. If I'm right about something, I'm impossible to move. So my friends call me Stump, because they said that you just can't push that over. That's an impossible task for a person to do. Is you can't move them on anything. And I'm right. I'm right about that. If you want something blocked, just block it yourself. That's responsibility. That's Mgtow in action. And as soon as your life starts working like that, and all of our lives start working, that Mgtow in action is taking those little steps for yourself. So we have this community that we're all working together, and we're all on the same page. And that's a great place that would be a great place to live, because most of us spend a lot of our time talking about this, blah, 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 about why is this happening, but the hypocrisy for that, to me, was when these people were saying that if they had them blocked, they wouldn't be able to see those comments. So they were telling me to do something for them that they were unwilling to do for themselves. And that's hypocrisy, and I get really stubborn on that shit. And then it went out of control. I'm a stubborn motherfucker. You can't make me do something that I don't want to do. I'll end up, several times I'll end up in jail, because if I'm right, I'm right. And that's it. And most of the time, I'm a pretty pleasant guy, but when I dig my heels in on something, it's not going to happen. I can't change my mind. I've tried. My friends tried this. He says, "Joe, that thinking is wrong, and it's going to get you in trouble in the society." And I'll say, "No, I'm absolutely 100% right. I'll give you the philosophy. I'll give you the theology. I'll work it out in a syllogism for you, and you'll see that he'll go, 'No, I know you're right, but the world says that you can't do that.'" And I'll go, "No, I'm right." And that's it. Oh yeah. So let me take care of this. And yeah, there we go. And that'll take care of that. And I got to do the click thing. That's the thing I don't want to have to do in here. I don't want to have to do these things. So that was and the Ibmore thing was really bothering me. It was really, it was like, why do you let these people? I don't let white nationalists come around and say bad things to my brothers here. Why do they let these black nationalists come around and say hateful things to the white followers? And then I at a certain point, I have to go, why am I following you? Why am I doing this? Because it's just hate being splung at me for being white. And you guys all know who I'm talking about, the new guy that's around town, and he's just slinging out a bunch of hate, and he's not being called on it. And when I called him, I got called a few names today. And it's like, no, no, man. I'm the most supportive person of in Igbo that there is. I just support it. I love you guys, and in the Black Manosphere. But man, you gotta support me in a certain way too, and that's removing if Gavin McGinnis or the white nationalists, any white nationalist comes around here, I remove them. I send them away. You can't do that stuff around here. I'm not that kind of guy. And hello, Silent Sage. Hello, Pretentious Hermit. Hello, Ref. Hello. Let me do my hellos. And hello, Prune Juice Power and Derek Lee. How's your day, Derek Lee? So at a certain point, and I was told this at one point, we had that video probably about 4 years ago with TFM when Ibmore first were first and I understood what Osiris was saying at that time, and I understood what our BMG was saying, and he says, "All we want to see is a little support from you guys to remove these white nationalists and help us out with that." But that's a two-way street. That's a two-way street on that thing. If we see these black nationalists going at the white guys, you have a responsibility to remove them too. And that was one of, and I'd like to call them out right now and say, hey, you're not cleaning your side of the street right now, because there's 1, 2, 3, 4, probably 4 guys that are just going really hard on white guys this and white guys that. King Richie's is like white guys this and these white guys, and all these white guys are the problem, and it can't possibly be the world's problem is all white guys. That's feminist. That's what the feminists are saying. So when this new guy comes around and starts saying all white guys are this, and it's the same as him, the feminists saying all white guys should go die, all old white men should go die. And I just happen to be one of that old white guy crowd, and I don't want to just go die. And I don't want people trying to kill me, because I'm not that guy. I'm not that Trump. I'm not that that racist. I'm not that part of that racist crew. But with my support on that, I do expect that these men support me too. And and when somebody says all these white guys must die, that Ibmore in the black community would say, hey, dude, that's fucking retarded. Because if I heard that if I heard one of my guys saying all these black guys should die, I would go off on him. I would say, dude, that's fucking retarded. That is some racist shit. And I was sad, and I said to E-Man today, I was like, man, it hurt. You hurt me to my soul here. I mean, I've done hundreds and hundreds of videos supporting Ibmore and supporting it, and supporting my friend BGS and supporting my friends over there. But they have them turn on me, and it was like, wow. And it's like, wow, I'm just one. All I am from the inception is an old white guy that deserves to die. And that hurts. I get a lot of that around here. I live in a community that's it's not my community. It's not white community at all. It's 67% Hispanic. It's 14% black, and the rest of us are hillbillies. Me, I'm a hillbilly, and I love it. I absolutely love it. Most of the time, I get treated really well. And my neighbor, she sent me beans and rice. She's a Hispanic lady. She's from Honduras, matter of fact, and she sent me over. I sent her over. I made candy for all the neighbors, peanut brittle, because you guys know I like making peanut brittle, and I sent it to the neighbors. And then she sent me over dinner, the turkey and rice and beans and some turkey leg. She gave me the big turkey. She gave me the turkey leg, and I was like, damn. And so I got that, and I got 2 dinners, 2 plates today. I got another plate from somewhere else, and then plus I had dinner, so I had 3 plates today, and I got 2 in there. And Dougie's eyeing up the other plate, and it's like, but no, I'm like, no, Dougie, that's my plate. And so I live in this community, and we all try to get along, and I'm the outsider here. And but I know in certain instances, I know what racism is, because I get treated badly sometimes because of my white skin, because I'm an Irish guy, and I'm an Irish guy in a basically community that has very little Irish guys. And So I know what that feels like, and I try to be supportive of all this stuff and everything. But at a certain point, if people aren't going to be supportive of me, and it's the same in my neighborhood, if they're going to pick up sticks and stones and throw them at them, and I'll just go, okay, I'll leave, I'll move, and but I hate you all now, you know, and that's the way it is here. If you throw sticks and stones, throw stones at old white men. We see that thing, throw stones at boys, and then we can't transpose that onto other ideas in our life where, okay, just throw stones at old white men because we like that, and we're the problem with the whole world. I'm not the problem with the whole world. I've been barely on this planet 50 some years, and anything before that, I have nothing to do with this. I'm pretty sure of that. I don't believe in reincarnation. It was just nothing I had to do with that. When my light goes out, I dissipate into nothingness. And that's the way I want it. I go to sleep forever, and I never have to look at another horrible thing in this planet again. That's my attitude about life. I don't believe in a lot of this conjecture. I don't believe in a lot of things that may happy, feel good things like, I'm going to go see Jesus, and Jesus is going to have beers and clowns, and there's going to be little people. And I'm going to be like, fuck little people. No, that's not going to, and they're going to have balloons and shit. And it's going to be by a lake, and I'm going to go fishing. No, I don't know. I don't think so. I don't think so. I think our energy dissolves and we just go. And then could be the best possible outcome and everything. And I'm not fearful of that because it just dissipates and I cease to exist. And that's the best possible outcome to this thing. But I would like to see real cartoon, like little people with beers, big beers, and they're like, here, Joe, have another beer. And we're like, dude, you're so little. I just want to hug them. It's fun to hug them. Because that would be really cool. That would be my utopia. There's just little people and just happiness and joy all around. But that's a delusion. If I wrote a book about that, you'd go, oh, that's delusional. And we have 2 other 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, maybe 9 other books written about this magic pie in the sky place where everything's happy and go girls are just dancing for the men, and they're all virgins, and they're handing out free beer, and everybody's just running real fast because you can run real fast in heaven, and there's no shortage of air, and it's just happy. You're just running. I wish there was, and I can see the complexity that the world has on religion and everything. Because man, that is a great but it's like marriage. The idea of marriage, man, that white picket fence. I'm gonna come home. She's gonna have an apple pie, and she's gonna be like, "Hey, baby," and she's got this badass body and this napkin, or this thing wrapped around one of those white things, and she's cooking, and she got that sexy dress on, and there's 2 kids, and they run out, and they're like, "Dad, I love you so much. What'd you?" And I was like, "Well, I made $200,000 this year, and I brought you all new bikes and you a new car." And then we all go, ha, 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 and everything's happy, and we get along, and like I, just do my thing, and she does her thing, and there's pies and cookies, and everything's Thanksgiving, and it's Christmas and birthday put together every day. That's what marriage is supposed to be. And we get this delusional shit, and then we get into it and we realize, man, it's arguing and it's fighting, and she's always yelling at me, and man, she don't look like the Pillsbury dough girl, and she never cooks me any cookies, and I get home and dinner's not done, and the carpet's fucking all filthy, and she's out running around, and the kids are like I don't know where the kids are. I got to call and find the kids. Where the kids? They're next door. She gave some of my money that I made at work so she can go run around, and the kids are at the babysitters, and then I get them home. I fix dinner. I do the carpet cleaning. I do everything. And you're like, man, this really sucks. I wish I had a man cave. So I go to my man cave with all my guitars in it, but she sold the shit. That's marriage. She sold my guitars, man, for crack money. Yeah. And then she tried to kill me. That's marriage. It's not that happy-go-lucky bullshit like in heaven. That's what, man, there's going to be clowns and beers and little people running around, and everybody runs real fast because everybody can run faster than heaven is everybody runs faster than the other person, and you're the winner every time. But everybody's the winner, and everybody has more money than everybody else. And you're always the winner. And that's heaven. No, it's not like that. Marriage sucks bad sometimes. I wish it was different, and I wish it was like that Christian view of heaven. But it's not like that, and it's losing all the time, and you lose. As a man, you suffer. They tell you, just suffer through that, Joe. That's what they told me. Every time I complained about it, be sitting at some wedding or something, drinking a beer, and I was, man, I hope she doesn't get too drunk, because I got to call a cab then, and I'm drunk now. And then we're talking about, what she did? She dumped some mint down my pipes, and she clogged them all up, and now I got to go home, and then she doesn't vacuum the floor, and everything's filthy, and I don't know what she does all day. She doesn't work. She just fucks guys in the bedroom up there in my bed. I think that's pretty much what she's doing. And they go, Joe, suffer through it. Suffrage, that's the key. No, it's not. That's the Jordan Peterson. Just suffer, man, because just suffer, Joe. And it's cool that you're suffering, but I didn't feel a thing. That's what he's saying. And all that, and then the love dissipates, and whatever there was, and there's just yelling and screaming and horror, and you want to leave every moment, and finally it ends, and you're like, God. And then some judge says, you know what you get now? You get to be the slave for her. And I was like, man, she's a whore. And he goes, I don't care. And then he says, and then you don't get to, them aren't your kids. He says, them aren't your kids. And I said, I always suspected they weren't my kids. And he says, I know they're not your kids. She gets them, but you get to pay for them. And that's marriage. Because one thing for sure, if you never get married, you'll never get a divorce. That's one thing precedes the other. There's presuppositions to this shit in life. And if you never get married, you never get a divorce, and you'll never be a slave. And that's what Mgtow is saying. Never get married, you'll never get a divorce, you'll never get a slave. And no matter how much everybody wants to believe in that true Nawalt out there, that stunning white horse with the horn unicorn coming out, and she's like, just, I'm here. You're like, no, that doesn't exist. That's why we call them unicorns, because they're fairy tales. And marriage was a fairy tale, and religion's a fairy tale, and there's a lot of fairy tales, and I have to deal with it in my logical brain, because I'm one of these people that think about everything in ands, ors, and nots, and that's the only way I can think, because someone told me I needed to be an electrician in life, and then they sent me to college to be an electrician, and it's just about logical order of everything in life, and that's the way I think now. So it ruined religion for me. I can't even have these pipe dreams anymore. It's like, nah, that shit's so weird. It doesn't exist. But great guy in my life. His name is it was Phil Philpott, matter of fact. And he says, you know what you need, Joe? And I says, what? And he says, you got to start reading Plato. He was a big Platoist. And he says, as an electrician, you're not going to find no joy in this world unless you replace that, which you do not believe in anymore, with some other kind of philosophy. So I started reading Plato and Kant and Descartes and I don't know how to French, but and Foucault and I think that first I read Hobbes and all that, and I replaced the philosophy of living and an ideology of ethics that I keep nowadays with that stuff, and I replaced religion with that, and the system of ands, ors, and nots that I have that I've explained for you, that usually goes no, stop, go. That's the end of everything. It's a not gate. No, stop, go. That's what I tell every person in my life that goes too far with me. No, stop, go. And them are all electronic signals. We need a unicorn when we can have beer and serving beer serving leprechauns would be so great. With big glasses, they're just like big glasses of ice cold beer with the frost still on them. You know, when it's perfect and it's perfectly half melted, like halfway down, And it's like, you have to grab it with two hands because it's like 64 ounces of like delicious goodness served by a little person with while you're fishing by a lake and there's an endless supply of fish. You just catch and release because that's all you do. You just catch fish and you release them. And then you look and people are cooking burgers and shit. Your favorite food, that's heaven. But that doesn't exist. At least I don't think it exists. I would wish it would, but that's the same marriage trap. It's religionistic. It's that like Simpsons paradox where there's something better out there and I just don't know about it. Somebody forgot to tell me about it in this lifetime and during my 50 some years of that's what the Simps tell us all the time. Man, you just made a mistake. During my 50 some years of in living on this planet, I just didn't notice this thing out here that exists, that there's this perfect Nawalt. How the freak did I miss that? I must be so stupid because I'm a really stupid guy. And then I go, no, Joe, you're one of the smartest guys because no one loves me more than me. And that's it. I just miss that. I crack so hard up sometimes when I hear that Joe, you just missed it. You just made a mistake. And I'm like, no, I've never made a mistake in my life before. Mistakes is something I don't do. And no, you did, Joe. That's what they're telling you. Joe, you just made a mistake. That first unicorn, that was a unicorn, but it transformed into a demon and tried to kill you. And that was a mistake you made. And I said, how does somebody else's actions become my mistake? I mean, how did that work? So there was all this conglomerate of lies out here that I was told that this thing was going to move on in a proper, orderly fashion from one thing to, and I was going to retire and I'm sitting on the porch drinking beer with my fabulous pie making wife, or she comes out every day with a pecan pie or something. Goes, is that good? And I was like, yeah, baby, and you enjoy doing that, don't you? Yeah, and I said, I chopped the wood. I did that this morning. I just chopped a shitload of wood, like 10 cords, and I would just throw them on the fire later. Yeah. Nah, life's not like that. Life's work and it's pain and it's horrible sometimes. And then you get that stupid look that stupefied look on your face. Like I say, when my wife says, she at the end of this, I says, you're cheating on me. And she says, yeah. And I says, yes. And she says, that's none of your business. I'll do it. It's my body, my choice. That's what the government said. And I was like, the government said that? And they said, yeah, my body, my choice. I don't have to be monogamous anymore. And I said, fuck, if I would have known I could have been polygamous, I could have did that 15 years ago. That's groovy. I was like, I'm so happy for you, baby. Leave. And she was like, yeah, I'm going to leave, but I'm going to take your kids. And then I was like, oh, man, we have a problem there. And then she said, well, they're not your kids. And I said, yeah. She says, they're my kids. And then she was right about that. I was like, God damn it, you're right. And they never been my kids because I can't have babies. And she says, exactly. You were just having sympathetic pregnancy. It's a male thing that men do they want to believe they're part of the family. And then I was like, no, there was never a bond, was there? And she said, no, that was just chemicals. And I was, shit, you're right, sweetheart. And, but with that knowledge, all that acceptance that I do now with all that thing, you're right, totally right. She's 100% your kids. They're 100% your responsibility. And she goes, oh, no, no, no. I said, yeah, they're 100%. You made them, not me. And she goes, no, no, no. They're 100% your responsibility. That's what the judge says. You're a slave. I was like, shit. I fell for that. I did. I totally fell for that. You got me so bad. You got me so bad, America. That was, you got me. That was so cool. You got me so bad. Does that sound like something you want to sign up for? And that all starts with romanticism, religious romanticism. That's something that's not true, but that's the lies that are fed to us through these organizations. And we talk about the NGOs, we talk about these organizations like UNESCO. They're serving you up a bunch of lies. I'm sure. I'm sure the original founder of UNESCO, that what Huxley, he was a biologist. I'm sure he knew all this stuff, but he was like, it's like, fuck, we're just not going to tell the guys because they're so stupid. And they might go on with these thoughts forever. And then because it was the 50s, and they're like, dudes were on top. It was patriarchal, and the dudes were thinking they were on top. And then Ella Vista came around and said, dudes, it's a myth. It's the male. It's, you guys believe this shit. And all the dudes were like, no, man, well, you're not wrong. No, you were. We were 100% wrong. That's what I'll tell the feminists every day, that we were 100% wrong. We were under the delusion. There was chemicals that your pheromones release. They make me release in my head that make me stupid. And I'll never fall for that again. But that's what we're telling the kids now. We're telling the guys, we're telling the Mgtows. There's chemicals that get released in your head that makes you really, really stupid. And then they call us names. Yeah, that's how that works. So my video today was, I'm pretty much done being called names. I'm pretty much done being that. I'm gonna just start unleashing on people now. With the Ibmores that do that racist thing. I'm gonna unleash on you now. And I'm going to start doing pooning videos. And that might be good for you guys because I am really good at pooning videos. And all the stupid that's coming up, all the stupid that we have going on in Mgtow, where most of these guys have no idea what Mgtow is. And it's like, I'm not going to hold back anymore. And it's sad that it has to come to this. One of your greatest allies becomes someone that's going to just be really honest with you. I'm going to do Mgtow truth. When I was younger, me and Russell, my buddy Russell was he was a special kind of guy. You'd love him. Russell couldn't lie. We were both realized that we were terrible at lying. So we used to do this thing where we just tell the truth. No matter how hard it just hit, and we just crack up after we'd say it. And that's like the little girl comes around and she's like, oh, let's look at my purse. And it's like, that little purse looks like a piece of shit. Did you pay money for that? I mean, you are so fat. And and that's the way I was. And it brings you to the truth is a hard pill to swallow sometimes. And sometimes it's just gonna be that way for now on. I mean, people say it to me all the time. Hey, Joe, you're fat, you're old, you're ugly. It's like, no, I'm not. I'm the prettiest fucking thing on this on this planet, and I could still beat most of the guys around here's ass. I'll tell you what. I'm just like, look at some of these simps around here. These, I mean, there would be no problem. It would be one punch and out. But that's what we get around here. Most of these guys are they're just weirdos and things. But I wanted to tell everybody about that 3 buttons on the side over there today. That's your escape from having that 3 buttons right on the side. If you click on it above the person, across from the person that you don't want, if you don't want to see a female, and if somebody comes in, I'm not going to do that for anybody anymore because it's your responsibility. You click on that and you put block, and the block of and this the magic thing that the magic YouTube thing happens, and then you don't see their comments anymore. And if everybody did that in Mgtow and wouldn't be such hypocrites, that would be perfect. And that's what I wanted to say to SFM. If instead of telling me to block somebody, you block it and you won't see it, because I rarely look at the chat. I can't afford to look at the chat. I can't read the chat and do this and talk. And I rarely look at the chat. You guys chat about whatever you want, but I'm not going to moderate that stuff for you. I'm not your dad. I'm not anybody's dad. I don't pick who's going to come around. I'm not going to pick how you guys react to things. But what I'd like to see is a mature audience of men that know how to use that black button, them 3 little dots. That's what, like the three little shells that they were talking about. And that, what's that movie with Sylvester Stallone when he gets all the tickets for swearing? So he uses them as toilet paper. And someone, oh, they forgot to tell him about the three little shells. That's the three little dots on the side, the three little shells. You flush things out. I love that movie. What is that movie called? He comes back from, he gets frozen in cryogenics. Yeah, because that's what Mgtow's about too. Mgtow's about, I mean, we hear it all the time. Mgtow's about becoming these guys where we're independent. We just like, hey, we're independent of, but then you ask another Mgtow to do something for you. No, no, you do it for yourselves. And that's what I do. If I don't want to see somebody, I block them. And I don't have too many people blocked. I unblocked everybody because it's just got two things, and I just stopped looking. If I don't want to watch a TV show, I sit down some nights in front of the TV, and it's really awful. We'll talk about that someday too. I'm going to go through. I'll probably put up Pub Films or Wi-Fi TV or one of those free, so I get all the pictures, and we'll talk about all the gynocentrism in movies nowadays, and we'll start going down the line with all the new TV programs, and and we'll see how much gynocentrism there is in all these things. But if I turn one on and I see that and it starts irritating me, I don't sit there and yell and throw things at the TV like they're going to hear it. I turn it off and go to a new one. And I've been really getting into, like, well, I was, and then they went kind of mushy, the new FBI one. They have the strong girl, go girl, and I kind of could put up with that a little bit. And I watched The Good Doctor last year, and he's an autistic kid. It's just funny too. It's like, if you could be autistic and be a doctor. It's like a Doogie Howser on steroids. It's like Doogie Howser, he was 14, but he was a genius. He was so genius that they made him a doctor, an honorary doctor. Now they got this autistic kid now, because all autistic kids get to play now, and he can become a doctor. He can be anything he wants in life, and he's like this artistic doctor, and they're so much better than other doctors because they're autistic, and that's cool. So I sit and laugh at that one, and he's got a new girlfriend. That's The Good Doctor. If you get to watch that, that's just funny. I mean, you can't make this shit. Yeah, they did make it up, but I was like, you can't make this shit up. Wow, look at that. I mean, we talk about social justice and all that, and but that's why I watched that one, and then that got too mushy for me, because he got a girlfriend and he's living with this girl, and she's really taking advantage of all of his autistic emotional problems. It's like a feminist living. They should just like redo the whole thing, and it's like, make up a song like, it's a feminist and he's autistic and they live together, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, strong girl. You know, that kooky sort of sitcom singing when they get with the acapella, like, she's a feminist and he's a Mgtow. And they live together. Wow. They're going to do it. Sooner or later, they will. They're going to do like he's an anti-feminist and she's a feminist, and they live together in the same apartment. And they're working through their differences. They're going to do it. They are so going to do it someday. And we're just, all of our heads are just going to explode like on TV. And then that's it. All of our heads will just explode. That's how they get rid of us. But I watched Peppermint. Did you watch Peppermint yet? Peppermint. She's a strong girl, and they killed her family because he did something wrong, and he's a jackass husband, and and then she takes down the whole mafia inside of New York, or not L.A. She get down. She's like shoots them up and shit, and she's just flipping and doing things like that, and she's just like superhero stuff, and yeah, I watched that last night. I was like, wow. Because you got to make fun. You just, man, a while ago, I stopped watching TV for years, and it's like, because I get so triggered. And then I thought, being triggered is so immature, Joe. You can just watch it and just try to just go, wow, yeah, and do what you do in Mgtow, explain it and say, wow, that's really screwed up that you guys did that. And at least I have some form of entertainment when I'm not trolling or lurking on chats and stuff like that. You lurk on a chat, you just sit there and listen and see what's up. And I enjoy it. I enjoy lurking. Lurking's good. You always should lurk on some plats. Let's see who's in the let me click, click. And there we go. I have to click to see who's in the. So it's Stuart. Hello, Stuart. Hello, Stuart. Hello, Derek. And there's my friend Riff. And who else do we have in here? Paul Lelick is Demolition Man. Thanks, Paul. Demolition Man. Yeah, that's a great movie too. But if you're going to get triggered, if social justice is going to trigger you, then you shouldn't watch it. But that shouldn't trigger you. Very true, Trav. I don't know what I said that was true, but I think I was going off at that point about hey, we take responsibility for our own things and stuff like that, and it's not such a big deal and anymore. And I used to get triggered. I used to get triggered a lot about, the girls are coming around and then I thought, well, that's so silly because that ruins my life. That runs my life. I don't, if I see a girl now, it doesn't bother me. It's like, I just put my head down, pull my hoodie up, and I just walk on by. And it's like, if they're doing something stupid, I just try to get out of there. And it doesn't trigger me. It doesn't bother me. I'm not, it's not that important that we have we're going to do the, when we do this and we collect together as men and everything, we do this and they go, well, you guys just want a safe space. So we're going to invade it. And I says, well, you know what? We're going to do it regardless of whether you like, we're just going to pretend that you're not there. And we're going to say what we want to say and do it regardless of what you think. We're not going to ask permission. And I always say that there's this point where the rest of the blue pill world out there expects Mgtows to ask permission of them to be a Mgtow. And they'll go, no, you can't be a Mgtow, dude. And I'll be like, oh, that so sucks. I'm sorry. No, I'm Joe. I'm going to do it anyways. And you know what? Now I'm going to do it in your face. I'm going to come around every day and go, hey, I'm Joe and I'm a Mgtow. I've been going through that with this other guy. He's some blue pill guy and some other thing, and he's like, oh, Mgtow, you guys suck. And so I keep going over there and being really nice, and that's the best way to do it. Is you be really nice and you just go, man, I don't need your permission, and I'm gonna do Mgtow anyways. And you live in like Minnesota or something, and I live in Ohio, and it's like, I'm gonna do Mgtow here, and I don't need your permission, and that's cool, isn't it? And they'll go, no, you have to ask my permission. And I was going, no, dude. It's not like I'm going to go, hey, you're so right. I forgot to ask Jim's permission in California, Jim 3666 on YouTube, because it's so important in my life that he matters. And I need his permission to be a Mgtow. Now I got to go around all the YouTube, every unit. Hey, dude, is it okay if I do this Mgtow thing without your permission? And they'll go, cool, Joe, just do it. And I go, dude, thanks. No, I'm not going to do that. That's a ridiculous statement. I don't need anybody's permission to do my Mgtow. And that's what you guys should do. You don't need nobody's permission. And when these jackasses come around and they start telling us, like, this is like Mgtow, but you guys got it wrong and everything, and you go, no, I totally got it totally right for myself. And I don't need your permission to do it. And whether you think I'm wrong or something, go. I mean, really, give me that ideology or that statement that's going to sway me, and none of them ever come up with that ideology or that logical statement or that syllogism, that manufactured syllogism that like Plato would, that like, dude, you're so right. That's why I shouldn't do Mgtow. And nobody has ever came up with that statement, that syllogism that ran to a true in my life, because I do that in my head naturally. I'm an electrician and I was a linguistics person in the Army. So I do syllogisms with everything I hear. If it doesn't run to a true, I go, there's this bell up in my head that ding, 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 it goes off. And it's like, that's a false. It's like, sorry, you're an ass. I'm just so sorry you are. And so I've never heard a statement that that anybody can manufacture. Marcus, he's like, okay, for you, you guys don't get it right, so I'll do it for you. I thought that was so funny. He says, if you're going to come at Mgtow, you come at Mgtow this way. And I'll even tell you how to come at us. I'll help out with that if you need some instructions on that. If these people that come around are like, you guys need my permission. No, I don't. Never in a day did I ever need someone's permission to be me. And they hate that. They hate that. They hate that. And it's like, wow, that should be an awakening moment for most people and everything. I was doing the Cartes, I can't remember, last week, and I come to this realization, and well, I didn't come to realization that he says that that nothing comes from something, doesn't ever come from nothing. It always comes from something. And Mgtow didn't start because there was no reason. We didn't come out of the ether and go, hey, we're assholes and we're here. If you ask religious people, that's how they go. Man, they came out of hell, and hell pumped up Mgtows, and then they're here and they're screwing with our marriage, and that fantasy world that we live in, and they're screwing with that. They must have come from hell because we believe in now that garbage. And no, we're like, no, dudes, we're just like you. Really, we are. We're just like you guys, but we actually like took the time to look at it and go, that's ridiculous. I don't want to be a slave. And I do that with my life a lot too. I don't want to be a slave. I don't, your taxes and shit, they're overwhelming, and I don't want to be your slave anymore. And you don't deserve them. And the whole United States is doing that. But I found last week that it was like, we do this for rich people. And we go like, man, those rich people, they shouldn't be paying taxes because they'll give us better jobs and shit. And then you have to step back from that whole thing and says, what gives them the permission to do that to you? And then because they just raised your house taxes. If you didn't notice, that's what happened after the housing market crashed, and all the houses went down to where they were supposed to be. The actual value. And I have this thing in my head that like my house here, there's the family house, and it was passed down from me to my, and blah blah blah, and that no longer has no value to anybody but me. And what they do is they covet your house, and they say, you got to pay taxes and pay me rent on your house. And I said, no, but it has no value to you, because it has no value at all. It's been paid off like years and years and years ago, so it has no value. So how can you tax something that has no value? But they go, because we're the government, we're assholes, and we need our jobs. And I go, nah, that just doesn't make sense, dude. And then what they did with the housing market crash, put the houses at all, and then they had to devalue. They never lowered the income tax they were taking in down to the value of the house. But now that the houses went up again, they increased the value. Most of you guys know this because you probably went through this in your prospective state or neighborhood that you live in, where they had all these meetings like, well, we're going to explain to you why you have to pay more taxes, because Trump just gave up 1.5 billion to the rich people, the same people that want to take your house. And then, but we don't know where to take it from because we have a tariff war going on now. So we're going to take it from the people in the houses, and we're going to raise because your house worth more. It's like giving you a tag and going, this is your identity. It's like, oh, it's a name tag. Thanks. I get it. And they'll go, you get a promotion in that too. You get to pay more taxes to us. And that's your promotion. You get a promotion, and we'll give you a title. And it's like, oh, thanks. You gave me a title. Wow, that's great. Fucking America's out of control. And I don't know who to blame it on. There's a lot of people to blame it on. Some people say the women. I don't believe it's all the women's fault. I don't believe it's. We used to have a government that ran on. Do you know this? Back in the early 20s and 30s and before this 18, our government ran on simply the tariffs and taxes they took at the borders, and they didn't ask the people for nothing. And it's like, yeah, that's the original government that we used to have before they did the money with the bank thing, and the gold had no value. Yeah, and then they said, well, your houses have value, and that's what we'll covet now. We won't covet the gold, we covet your house. And now we have what Plato says. We have the son of a billionaire that's running our country that covets your house. He's a real estate person. And you think that's going to turn out well? I don't see that turning out well. People coveting, and that was one of the Ten Commandments. So we have a country that does that. So if there is this entity up there, this is a good time to come down and say, we have these huge. I'm the huge entity guy, and we have these huge entity guy laws. And one of those laws that we have in the Ten Commandments was thou shalt not steal, thou shalt not covet, thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's wife. That's a big one. But we just tear that up and and go over that one with the hamster wheel. And there's like 10 of them. In Alabama, they actually had those put back up on the wall. We had to vote that in. They had to have a vote, and the people said, we want to put those 10 good ideas back up on the wall, and they're having a fit about the other people are going, no, because that tells me you're telling me what to do. It's like, don't steal. No, you can't tell me what to do, dude. And I was getting around to Deidre on that stuff, and I was getting into that stuff about it's okay to steal from anybody that's under your class, but you can't, like, the bank can steal from you and take your house and take taxes, and then they can pay the house. And then they make that house your house with the foreclosure thing, and then it's their house. And then even though you paid for it already, and then you built it, the proletariat built it, but it's theirs. Somehow it magically becomes theirs. That's the thing. That's the problem with entitlement in our government. But it becomes there, and they're saying, well, we're going to steal your house from you, but you can't do nothing to us because we're the bank. But here's the secret: you can steal from people underclass of you. Anybody that's not your class, you can steal from them, and we can steal from you, but you can't rob me back. So if you rob a bank, you go to jail. And that's anti-logic. And I know Louis Stevens just rolled over in his grave, and he says, no, Joe, don't do that kind of logic for people, because that hurts. That's cynical logic. I was reading about cynicalism. This cynicalism is maybe what I am, more or less pragmatic in cynicalism about the state of things. And I think cynicism, it's not born of nothing either. It's not. That's where I started going with this thing. It's born of something. Something made Mgtow cynical. Mgtow wasn't born in a vacuum. Something had to happen to make this. And then the Christians just told us, don't worry about what had happened. And it's still happening, but don't worry about that, because that's all nutso cuckoo shit. And I was like, no, it's not nutso. I don't want to be a slave. And they're going, Joe, just sign up. And I was like, no, I don't want to be a slave. And they go, Joe, just fucking follow the rules. And by the way, you'll never own your house. I just figured that one out. You got to pay us rent because we're better than you. And you know me, I'm like, you think you're better than me, huh? That's never going to turn out well. That's, as Irish people, it's like got in a war with the biggest country in the world. And, we just know you're not better than us. That's all we were saying. You think you are, but, we're just not them kind of people. We're pretty much, I think that's the stump in me, the immovable object, is because I am Irish. Something about the immovable object, it's like, no, this doesn't make sense, and you're wrong. But that's what America used to be when we didn't want to pay taxes to the king, and so we dumped the T in the C, and it was a logical statement of like, yeah, you're not that special. We don't like you that much. And he was saying, like, but I'm the king. I got a title. And we're going, nah, sorry, doesn't play well here. And now we have different kinds of fascist kings. We have the people that work down at the the centers, the big centers down there, yeah, they're your new fascist king. They get to take part of your house, even though you paid for it 10 years ago, and you still got to pay them rent because they're so special. It doesn't make sense to me. A lot of things in this world don't make it. There's no excuse not to send an invite to your friends you haven't seen for a while. It's you think so I'm just trying to catch up on the chat, guys. I'm sorry about that. So we have a lot of problems in our country now because people are thinking like asses, and everybody thinks they're so special. The special boy club, everybody gets to pay and everybody gets things for free, and it's going to be a utopian heaven, and there's going to be little people with big beers running around, except for me, because somebody's got to do the work. That's what they're saying. And sorry about that, Joe. You're still the slave. You guys get to party up in the White House there all the time, and they have big bottles of boat. Did you see that article a few years ago when they were doing the birthday for the lady and the what is that? The maintenance, the people that take care of all the GRS, general service, for buildings and the government. And they had the big bottle of Moat. It was like a $40,000 bottle. It was like huge. It was like they popped that thing open and they had this big cake. And they were like, and the reporter said, "Who's paying for this?" And there was like, "You are." And everybody kind of went nuts there. It was like, no, the taxpayer is sick of paying so guys can party and not really do any work ever. And that ended well too. They said, well, we're going to continue doing, and we don't care. We're going to continue doing that, and we don't care. And then they raised it. Now the national, I think it's $4.5 trillion that we spend a year. It's pretty much spent by the government, because all in all, welfare and all that stuff is barely $689 billion, which is nothing compared to the total national debt and healthcare. The whole thing we can cover for $689 billion. It's like, my thoughts are like, let's have a layoff like they do at the steel company. When the steel company starts doing bad and they can't cover their debt, you know what they do? They lay off guys. So we have a big layoff in the government, and then we all the non-essential workers will lay off, all the city workers will lay off. We'll just lay off everybody. And that was Trump. He says, we're gonna stop and I says, cool, that's so cool. Just lay yourself off too. And then but you don't get paid. And then they go, what? I said, no, you don't get paid. That's the idea. You don't get paid. We take that, and then we just everything goes on, and then we build this extra money, and then we have extra money because we're not paying you people for sitting around in your fat asses and drinking big bottles of Moat and eating cake. I should be like the governor of the world. You call me governor. I'll be like laying people off, like just like they would do at like me. If the steel company does bad, you just go, oh, Joe, you're laid off, and I'm saying that sucks. I'm gonna have to go do other things, and that's what I'm telling them. Like, you just lay off Congress and lay off all these people. Go home, you don't get paid, and you're just gonna have to figure out how to work and do other things in your life. And it'll only be for like a year. We'll do it for a year. Sorry if your kids don't eat. But that's my idea, and I don't think they're going to do that. But I'd like to see that governmental shutdown. I was just like, let it fucking shut down. They'll lay it off so I don't get my street plowed. I don't drive a car anyways. I'll call Uber. I'll bet you like 10 to 1. I'll bet you anybody in this place, I'll bet you $10. If the government shut down all snow plowing services and stuff like that, that Uber would buy snow plows. Because that's the way capitalism's supposed to work. When we have these companies that do business in the roads, and then they're supposed to start paying money into the road services, but they don't. And this company, they gave them a big tax cut, and they said, you don't have, we'll get Joe will pay for that road services. So Uber. And I said, no, this dude, it's supposed to work like this. The government shuts that stuff down, and then you still need to run your business, so you have to buy the snowplows. And they'll go, no, no, we're special. God damn. There's a lot of special people on this planet. There's special people in the court systems. There's special people in the business systems. There's special people, like special girls get special gifts from slaves like me. And there's a lot of special people on this planet that get a whole lot. And well, I'm sick. I feel like Atlas. I got this moon back here. I put it up there. I'm like, I feel like I'm carrying that on my back, and that's the world. And that's why I went Mgtow. There's the long way around. So I hope you're all having a good. I hope you all eat like a lot of turkey. I didn't get tired after I ate turkey. Did you guys get tired after you ate turkey? I didn't get tired today after I ate turkey, and that's tryptophan. I think it's called tryptophan, the chemical in turkey. You eat turkey and you watch like football and you just pass out on the couch like, but I didn't have that experience. I ate the turkey. I got home and I was like, man, I'm so going to freaking sleep. And I sat down and I made peanut brittle last night and I handed it out to all my neighbors, and except the ones I don't like. And and I was going to get some peanut brittle and I was going to make a cappuccino and eat some peanut brittle and just pass out playing the game. I was like going to play the game and pass out. And the tryptophan never kicked in. Maybe they took the tryptophan out of the turkey. And at least my turkey, they did. Trav, this is your house. We don't control it. You do. Yeah. Yeah, but you control your destiny. You control everything. You guys control everything around here now. I handed over the reins to you guys. Just control everything. I did. That's what I said with that. I was like, you guys are great. I says, I have that much respect and confidence in you guys that I'm just going to hand over the reins. And if everybody decides that they don't like somebody, that they all hit that little 3 buttons there, and then they all say no, and then nobody will see them. And they'll be talking. That's the funny part. See, that's the funny part. When everybody in the whole group does that, the person will be talking and they won't know that they're on a silent ban. And no one will know, even have an idea what they're saying. And then sooner or later, they'll wake up and they'll go, you know what? Nobody's talking to me. And they'll go, maybe I'm not wanted around here. And then that's how that works. That's how this plays out. Because you know how it works when you tell a woman not to do something. What's she gonna do? Hey, Magnus, in your life, when you told a woman not to do something, what did she do? Debo, when you told your woman not to do something, what did she do? She did it, didn't she? She did. My ex-wife was the same way. And I know Stuart knows this one. You tell her, don't spend that money. And you'll come back and she'll go, I spent that money. We were saving that. And it's like, no, you should have told me not to do it. That's the way women are. And it's like, yep, she did that. You can't fight that kind of thing using like some Mgtow, some man up shit. And I'm gonna tell you not to do that, and you're not gonna do it. She's gonna go, mm-hmm. And then she's gonna continue doing it. That's the way they are. We say we understand. So we have to figure out an alternate plan in Mgtow and how to make them stop coming around if we want to have our space where we talk about like Mgtow shit. Like we have to like silently do it's what men always do. We do the wink, wink, nod, nod to each other. And I go, yeah, wink, wink, nod, nod. There's 3 dots on the side of there. Just block her. And then if all of us do it, she'll come around and she'll be talking. And I'll probably be the only one laughing because I get the little things up on the side of the people that are blocked. I can see everybody that says a comment that is blocked. And I'll just be laughing. They don't even know she's here. They have no idea. And that's just the funniest shit in the whole world. Because it's about funny shit. And if you didn't have funny shit in life, If you didn't manufacture funny shit and ironic shit and just sarcastic shit, then life wouldn't be worth living if it wasn't just ironic and funny. And you got to figure out how to do these things sometimes, and that's what I'm telling. Someday everybody will go, you know what, Joe is right about that, because that shit's just funny. It's hilarious. Trav, though purple pill, you can survive a relationship with a woman financially. I would never share financial assets. Yeah, me neither. I would never share finance. I did. I had that mistake. I had this bank account that I had for years, and I was like, man, I'm just going to put this away. I was kind of Mgtow minded when I was younger, and I took $200 out of my pay a week and I put it into there. It was my 401 for just savings. Because at that time it was the 80s and they had just fucked us on one 401. George Bush fucked us on that, and that ended, and I just got fucked on another 401 because they're just trying to figure out how to screw us silently. And so I said, I'm not doing these 401 things anymore. I'm just going to put my money in the bank and not screw with you people, because you stole my money twice already. And but the banks are allowed to steal your money. That's how that classism thing works. You can't steal from them. They can steal from you. And then we bailed them out and they stole from us again. And they said, see, but, and they're exactly right, because that's the way it works. I know it's absurdity is what I'm trying to say. And, yeah, so I put it away. I put that money away, and then I thought one day, like, this relationship's going on so good, I'll just tell her about it. And then I looked up. I went to buy after years and years and years of, I was going to buy a new shed, a garage for the house. So I had the old house shed thing torn down, and I was going to put this new one, and it was huge. It was nice. My son was like, Dad, that's gorgeous. And we're going to have a workshop, and we're going to get a lathe over there. We're going to do woodworking over here. And it was this huge metal building. And then I was like, I needed $11,000 for a down payment. That wasn't shit, because I knew I had like all that money in there. And I was like, here's the check. And the guy ran it, and he said, and then 2 days later, they're like, Mr. Burns, there's no money in there. I was at work, and they said the check bounced. I was like, she did it. I told her not to touch that, and it was like $100,000. She's like, gone. I was such an ass. I should have never, because I would have had a really cool shed right now. At least that would have been like mine. It wouldn't have really been mine. As soon as I built it and put it up and I paid for it, the government starts taxing me for that because it's theirs. Somehow it becomes theirs. And I was like, no, that has no value to you. That's what's called coveting. You're coveting my property. If like sooner or later they'll tax you on like this, Joe, we're going to tax you on your shield here, and that's mine too. And then you have to pay us rent. That's the same thing. It'd be like, that's ridiculous. I wish I could get a group going rather than Mgtow just do a group on how ridiculous paying house taxes is. I believe you pay house taxes if you have a financial loan against the house. They can do that to you because you're working with that system. But as soon as you own a house, it has no value to anything else except for you, and that's your property. And like, that's no value. The value goes down with the loan, and there's no value on that. It's like, except to you, but they can't covet something that you own. That's like coveting your wife, coveting your car, like saying, man, I like your red Mustang there. That's mine now. And you go, no, it's not. It's still mine. And they'll go, no, your red Mustang's mine because I say so, and I can force that on you because I'm the government. And you go, shit, yeah, I guess you can. But if enough of us stood up for that, that would be a Mgtow. That would be a channel I'd like to have. But they would shut me down because it makes too much sense that they can't have everything they want. And they'll try to kill me probably. That's what my buddy says, Joe, they're going to kill you. And it's like, yeah, they've tried a couple times already. And a couple people have tried, at least a couple dozen. And, they tried real hard in the army to kill me. And then my wife tried, and then I think I had an ex-girlfriend. She tried once too. It's like, damn. I'm like a fucking, I don't know. It's just, I don't go away. But we live in a weird world that weird logic rules, because they got that religious logic. It's like Mike Pence. He's like, Trump laughs at him. It's funny. Don't go over to Pence's because he's going to make you pray. And be like, what are we praying for? He's like, we're going to ask Jesus for something. And I was, oh man, Jesus, I could use a new van. And then he never gives it to me. But Pence is going to put that through Jesus and little prayers to Jesus. And it's like, oh man, I hope that happens. Little people with beers will come around and shit. But yeah, Pence is funny. He's a funny guy, but he gives us one of those things. He's so afraid of Me Too that he doesn't ever, it's like, never be around a woman without your spouse or without a CIA agent. I wish I had a CIA agent. I knew someone that had a CIA agent. He was an engineer for NASA. And he was a really smart guy. He was in the Navy and shit, and he became a nuclear physicist. And he used to freak me out when I go over his house. And at any kind of event around it, he got like special protection from the CIA. And then there would just be this guy, this really well-mannered guy in a suit, just standing there. And then I'd be like, Joe, and he'd be like, Joe, and then we'd hug him, and I was like, who is that guy? And they go, don't worry about him. He's just the guy that protects me. And that's really cool because I want one of those too. I'd like to have one of those in my life. I just go into the store and there'll just be this guy. I'll be chatting up people and there'll be a guy standing next to me like, that would be great. That would be great. You would pay for it. Misfit. Oh, the world, you censor you. Oh, they would censor me, wouldn't they? If I started talking like, we shouldn't have to pay these taxes anymore because they're stupid. And it's just the government coveting what you own and the proletariat own and what the proletariat built, because they can't do it for themselves. They want us to do it for them and they want to take it. The working people of this country. Yeah, they would have a fit. They would say, well, they would try to make it seem like you're doing something wrong. And then all the people that are really the sheeples, the same blue pill people that get married and shit, they'd be like, you don't pay your taxes. You're an ass. And I'll say, but they're unfair. That's what we said back in the George Washington time. When we threw that tea into the sea, what the libertarians were saying. Like, you shouldn't have to, but now we have this libertarian president. Like, he's a real estate guy, and he wants to take more money. That's how he paid for that, and he wants more. And we're gonna say no, you don't get more. It's like everything you own is ours. I didn't know that. But they'll yell at me. They'll say I'm somehow wrong about that because Jesus in the Bible said that give Caesar due what Caesar is due or something like that. And I say, like, no, who put that in there? Paul put that in there because Paul was an asshole and he worked for the government. And did you know that Paul, the Bible was written by a portion of that, and that's where that. And it says no, Paul put that in there because Paul was an asshole, and they hired him to do that. Because that was his job in the government before he sat down under the palm tree and the palm things withered and the bug, and then he almost died there. And then he had this revelation. He was the guy that was in charge of telling the Christians that they were wrong. Oh, I didn't know that. I was like, no, Paul was an asshole. They put that's not real. Caesar, he doesn't even exist anymore. And I'll say, if you can bring Caesar to my house, I'll give Caesar what he's due. Because that's the logic. And I was like, no, but it's an analogy for why you're an asshole, Joe. Yeah, that's what I thought. They're saying you're wrong because I could make up a quippy analogy. And I'm saying, no, I'm still not wrong. You're coveting my property and you want me to pay you so you can live. And that's not a wrong thought. That's exactly right logic. Nothing here is yours. Everything's mine. Everything's mine. I did it. Nothing's yours. And it's like, they go, no, no, you're wrong, Joe. They want to be real nice about it. They do the Christian voice, like the Christian nice voice. No, you must be confused. Maybe you're mentally ill. Now, I've seen guys get, like, they'll take him away. Like, you don't believe in taxes? He's mentally ill. Look what they did with Lesko. It's like, was it Lesko? I can't remember the guy's name. That was like, there's nothing in the Constitution that says you have to pay those. And then they said, no, you're wrong. Are you mentally ill? And he said, no, I'm absolutely right. You have the right to moderate the commerce in your country. That means anything coming out and out of the borders, you can take a piece of that. That's what you have the right to do, but you don't have a right to take from your citizens. That's why we went to war the first time, and that little thing that we called the war back then with Judge Washington and them guys, and they did a really great job. Yeah, that's why we did that the first time. But I think they would shut me down. They would censor me. They would. I think they would. I should try it. I should just make the channel, and I just become Traversable Logic, why they're asses or something like that, and why it's wrong, and I'll put it the logical syllogisms up and all that stuff, and they'll go, no, but you're still wrong, Joe, even though it runs to a true that we're just stealing from you. Yeah, it's like stealing's okay because because it's the bank thing. It's okay to steal from people under your caste, but it's not okay to steal from people above your caste. That's what they call bank robbery. But they could steal they stole my 401k twice. And then Bush said it was okay the first time. And then who did it next? It was Bush Jr. did it next. And they said, that's okay because we lost it in the stock market. And I said, well, the money doesn't disappear. And they go, yeah, it just disappeared into somebody else's pocket. I said, no, the money didn't disappear. It's like $1. It just doesn't disappear. It doesn't go, oh, it did. But it resurfaced in somebody else's pocket. That's magic money. Yeah. That's how they explain that thing. They did the housing market crash too. I'm so glad I pulled my money out of my last 401k. And that's what I was living on that time because I was really sick and I was dying. And I pulled the money out of the 401k because I had no thing to eat, and they wouldn't give me no food stamps or anything because I'm white. And they did. They said that you're white, go to work. And it's like so I had to end my 401k and feed myself. And so I missed the big. I didn't have no money left after my wife like smoked crack, and then that big dip, I missed that one. It's like, man, I could have had my money stole for the third time. That would have been so exciting. But I'm sure you young guys, if you put your money in 401ks and don't stick it in the bank and don't tell nobody that it's in the bank, that'll happen to you too. And you'll get to experience that joy of rich people just spending the shit out. They'll get a new pool. The bankers get new pools and shit. And then their wives get like dresses and purses from, who's that, Prada? And you should be happy for them because they have a right to make money too. I know, it's just ridiculous. Our system is quite ridiculous, and that's not really our system. They're our policies from people that are a better caste of you than you. They're better. They're more important than you. They're just more important. That's somebody deemed them more important than you, and they're better than you. Yeah, they are. So that was my rant for Thursday, Thanksgiving. So we killed all the Indians. We ate their food. We stole their land. We made them march for thousands of miles, and we'll celebrate that every year. And then what else did we go through today? We went through house taxes. We went through taxes and ridiculousness of our system. We went through. I get treated really badly by the Ibmores because I'm white. I'm an old white guy. And that's the same kind of racism as like throw rocks at boys. Now we're just throwing rocks at old white guys because they're old white guys, because they it's their fault for everything. So Ibmore treated me really bad. And what else did we talk about today? Because it's my fault, I guess. We talked about blah, blah, blah. Oh, we talked about the International Men's Day, how that's a scam. And that's UNESCO. That's the UN people, the same people that are bringing you this Sunday will be International Violence Against Women's Day. Think about that hypocrisy. But they gave you a tag and they said, well, you guys can go home now. UNESCO says you guys can go home because we took care of that. We gave you a day with a title. Aren't you happy with that? You don't, there's no need to ask for anything more. You got a day with a title. It's International Men's Day. And you go, shit, that's a day with a title. That's better than nothing. So you can stop complaining and being such misogynistic people. Hey, Doug, are you having problems there? I think Dougie wants to go back outside. He's really digging the cold. Dougie never comes in anymore because he's got that fur thing happening. He's an Alaskan Eskimo. And he loves it, being outside all the time. And then he drives me nuts when he says he's in here too long. He'll just start driving me nuts. He gives me that, and he grunts at me. And he wants to go outside. So I'm probably going to end this thing because there was a whole lot of absurdity going around. And I just needed to talk it away for a while. Hey, Doug's, what were you doing? I think he was drinking out of the toilet. That's so cool when he drinks out of the toilet. I hope there was no urine in there. You were drinking out of the toilet, weren't you? Yeah, he's like, yeah, the water tastes best out of the toilet. It's cool. There's something about the cooling porcelain bowl that he likes. So with that knowledge, I'm going to let you guys go. And you can think of all the absurdities that I talked about today. And we'll talk again someday, Mgtow. And most of all, thanks for being Mgtow. And that's all I got to say today. And have a great, go eat some turkey and pass out on the couch watching the football game if there's one on. If you're American, if not, I'm sorry you don't have a holiday today. And most of you guys just take care and be Mgtow, and that'll take care of everything. I swear, 10 years ago, my life sucked. And if I didn't become a Mgtow, my life would still suck bad. And I know there's certain beliefs I have. Deal with it. That's all I can say is deal with it. I don't tell you how to act. You don't tell me how to act. And we get on great. But as for being Mgtow, I'll thank each and every one of you for being Mgtow, because that makes life easier on me. Because otherwise I'd be the only Mgtow, and that would really suck. Being the only Mgtow would real suck. You'd be like, I got these ideas, and everybody would be like, you're crazy. That's the way it used to be before there was Mgtow. Everybody would say, you're crazy, Joe. Them ideas they'll never fly. And just be a happy slave. That's what they said. But I said, no, I'm going to be this thing, and I can't label it. But someone labeled it for me. That was Paco. And Paco labeled it, and they said, we're going to make this Mgtow thing. And I said, oh, cool. That's what I'm too. And now I have a bunch of guys like you that come around, and we have ideas that pretty much line up about how absurd the world is. And that's what I'm thanking you for, because you guys are pretty bright. And that's it. Thanks for being Mgtow.